Guys, last episode we talked about ways to soothe eco-anxiety in teens and young adults. And there is something from that episode that I cannot get out of my head. I need to talk about this some more. I need to process this. Scientists accidentally discovered plastic eating worms. Spanish biologist Dr. Federica Bertocchini, an amateur beekeeper, was cleaning out her beehives when she noticed that waxworms were eating through the structures. She threw the worms into a plastic bag and was surprised a short time later to see holes in it. Subsequent testing confirmed that these waxworms could metabolize polyethylene at unprecedented rates. Waxworms are the larval stage of the wax moth or Galleria mellonella. Wax moths are apparently a bit of a pest to beekeepers because of this tendency to eat through the beeswax in the hives. They have unique digestive abilities that allow them to process beeswax, a complex substance made of fatty acids, esters, and long-chain alkanes. This is a relatively rare ability among insects, and it is made possible partially by the secretion of specific enzymes that break down the wax. Polyethylene has a similar chemical structure to beeswax. Scientists began testing the saliva coming out of the worms' mouths and found two enzymes that are particularly capable of breaking down plastic, something that we have never been able to do effectively. So, scientists have been working to isolate and synthesize these enzymes, which I have some reservations about. I am thinking of the fields of monocrop soy plants, the nightmare of animal agriculture, and the smoke and mirrors game of carbon credits. I understand that this information is being utilized within the framework of Western science, which tends to operate by dividing and isolating and is heavily biased by an anthropocentric view. I do recognize that this is complicated. There is so much plastic waste and so little time that I can understand why people who care deeply about the earth might take this approach. However, I would like to offer the perspective that if we could humble ourselves enough to stand alongside these organisms and to admit that they can do something we cannot do and accept their help with it, it could change the trajectory for our planet. Rather than trying to extract their skills and incorporate them into our own destructive systems of overconsumption, what if we could see how gracious these organisms are in helping us clean up our mess? Here is the situation as I see it. We are the teenager that has just crashed the car and we are staggering into the road. We desperately need help. Someone who loves us has arrived and knows what to do next. Are we going to rip their keys from their hands, the money from their wallet, and leave them discarded on the side of the road? Or is there something very important in the act of feeling and expressing the gratitude and relief we would feel for their help? Galleria mellonella is not the only species that is offering solutions. The superworm Zophobus morio also has the ability to digest plastic, as discovered in 2022. Fungi Aspergillus terreus and Angiodontium album can do it too. There are no guarantees being made that I pronounced any of those Latin names right. This information has my imagination racing. It really feels to me that if we could just stop causing harm, there are a million biological functions that the earth has to heal itself. If we could just stop making plastic for no reason, other organisms might help us manage the pounds and pounds of it that we have already created. I felt like there was such a powerful lesson in these creatures being worms and mushrooms. They are creatures that have traditionally been placed at or near the bottom of a hierarchy, and you guys know how I feel about a hierarchy. And these amazing little organisms are the ones that could help us survive. As humans, we have collectively created an embarrassing mess, and it is really time to be humble as we try to figure out how to fix it. I am curious about how this information could be incorporated into a worldview of community and resilience. To me, it highlights the benefits of restoring our relationship with the rest of the natural world. We don't have all the answers, and we need to accept any help we can get. Thank you for listening, and I'll meet you here next time on Reimagining Ourselves.